Okay, so just for a second, imagine this. You are the most famous person on the planet, a complete global icon. But while the whole world is screaming your name, you're fighting this secret battle that nobody sees, a battle against the person you see in the mirror.
So, you gotta wonder, right? Behind that iconic moonwalk, behind the screaming fans, what was really going on? What was the secret that drove one of the most talked about transformations we've ever seen in pop culture?
All right, let's start where everybody saw him, literally on top of the world. But the real story, well, that begins in the quiet moments, long after the curtain fell.
I mean, to us, he was just larger than life. The king of pop, right? His music, his moves, they literally defined a generation. The guy was an absolute unstoppable force.
And yet, every single time he looked in the mirror, he was watching a piece of himself just disappear, vanish. This was something happening to him, and it was completely 100% out of his control.
So where did it all start? How did this huge public mystery begin? Well, it all kicked off with something super small and incredibly private.
Yeah, just try to picture it. The show's over, the roar of the crowd has faded to nothing. It's in a quiet moment, just like that the very first sign showed up.
And there it was. Just a small, almost invisible white patch on his hand. I mean, it was so small, you or I, we probably would have just brushed it off. But for him, this was the beginning of everything.
And you know, as that one little patch started to spread, so did the fear. He was confused, he was definitely worried. I mean, his own body was changing right before his eyes, and he had absolutely no clue why.
Of course, it wasn't a secret for long. Pretty soon, he wasn't the only one who noticed. The entire world was watching. And those quiet whispers, they turned into an absolute storm of speculation.
And this was the question, the one that was everywhere, dominating all the headlines. It was such a personal, incredibly damaging accusation, and it just became the main story everyone was telling.
And man, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what the media was like back then. The rumors were just juicier, more sensational than the truth, so they spread like wildfire and took on a life of their own.
The impact of all that, it was huge. While the entire world was debating who he was, Michael felt completely, and I mean utterly, misunderstood. Can you imagine? Isolated by the very fame that made him who he was.
Okay, let's just cut through all that noise for a second. Because behind all the rumors, all the crazy headlines, there was a simple, clear medical explanation.
The truth has a name. It's called vitiligo, and it's a very real and often really challenging skin condition. Basically, the cells that produce pigment in your skin, they just stop working, and that causes the skin to lose its color in patches.
So here's the key thing to get. This is a biological process. It's not a choice. It starts with a perfectly healthy pigment cell. Then that cell just switches off. That creates a white patch, and yeah, over time, those patches can grow and spread.
And that finally explains the makeup. See, he wasn't trying to become someone else. He was a performer, a global superstar trying to deal with a very visible condition under the brightest spotlights imaginable. He was just using makeup to even out his skin tone as the vitiligo took over.
So, when you put all this together, what does it mean for the man in the mirror? Well, this is where we get to the heart of it all. The real story, the human story.
When you actually lay it all out, side by side like this, the difference is just staggering. The rumor was that it was a choice, some kind of calculated act. But the reality? It was a medical condition. And it was a man desperately trying to hide the pain of being so misunderstood.
Because at the end of the day, when you strip away all the personas, all the rumors, all the fame, what are you left with? One thing, one person, and one single human truth.
And that's honestly why this story is still so important. This isn't just about a celebrity from the past. It's a huge, powerful call for more awareness and a little more empathy for anyone living with vitiligo. So what's the one thing to take away from all this? It's this simple but incredibly powerful truth. His identity, who he was on the inside, his heart, that never changed. He wasn't changing who he was, his skin was. And when you really understand that difference, well, it changes everything.